The Warriors just lost 117-110 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're now down 3-1 in the series. Let's get messy. Yo, what's up? Welcome to a special nighttime edition of the Best 49ers Show. I'm Grant Cohn. That's Ryan G. Hensley. We agreed to do the show late tonight because there isn't any breaking Niners news, although we do have Niners topics. If you're a Niner fan and just want to hear Niners, stay tuned. We'll get that to the second half of the show. First half of the show, Warriors, they just lost at home, third game in a row, 117-110. What is your biggest takeaway from this loss?
My biggest takeaway from this series is that we should realize how great Steph Curry is, how important he is to the Warriors. Obviously, that's, goes without saying, but I mean, his greatness has helped shape the careers of Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. And I like Kerr.
Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler.
All these guys. It's a different team when Steph's not there. They can't score. They're just so reliant on Steph Curry that when they don't have him, they just can't put up points, man.
I don't feel like they should be expected to win these games against the Wolves without Steph. I understand that. Still, it felt like they didn't put their best foot forward tonight. It felt like, first of all, let's talk about Steve Kerr, man. So Steve Kerr has put Kuminga in the doghouse all year. And I don't really understand why, considering he was the guy creating his own shot in this game. Meanwhile, he loves Brandon Podziemski, who we'll talk about as well, who shot 23% in this series. I'm a little perplexed with Kerr. I feel like he's done a great job building teams around Curry. But now that Curry's out, I feel like some of his shortcomings have been exposed a little bit.
Yeah, what I see and I'll be real. I like Steve Kerr. I like the person. I like the coach. Nobody's perfect. It's easy to judge from the outside. I know he knows more about basketball than me. All that stuff, right? All that preliminary stuff. I got to get out of the way. But I think he's relied, just like the rest of this team, relied on Steph Curry instead of finding who are the best five players to put on the court, and let's build around all five of those guys and make it work. For those five guys specifically, it's who runs the offense correctly for Steph Curry instead of coaching up guys like Kuminga. It's criminal to me that Kuminga was benched this season. What he needed was confidence and direction. I've been debating a friend of mine for 2-3 weeks now, and his take is, and he often sides with the team, that Kuminga, the offense is just too complex for Kuminga. That's absolute BS. Right? Maybe it's decision-making, but that comes from confidence and trust in what you're doing out there, and that comes from playing. Kuminga not playing has been criminal. Steve Kerr should have had Kuminga involved a lot more. I mean, why does Pods get free reign? And Kuminga has one mistake and he's sitting.
It just feels like Shanahan, man. It's like your offense isn't working. What's so great about your offense? When I watch your offense, when I watch, these guys try to execute your offense when Kuminga's on the bench, it's just a bunch of passes and a shot clock violation or some type of heave with 3 seconds left on the shot. It's not working. What they need is someone who can be aggressive and create their own shot. And it's supposed to be Jimmy Butler III, but it's not. And we'll talk about him in a minute. For the last 2-3 games, the most aggressive player on the team offensively has been Kuminga. Maybe the best player on the team has been Kuminga. And yet he's starting Trace Jackson Davis? I don't get that. To me, this feels like a little bit like, and I don't cover this guy, but this feels a little bit like an ego trip. Like people have been telling him, you got to play Kuminga, you got to play Kuminga. And he's put his foot down so long ago. He wants to be right, but he's wrong.
Yeah, and I like Trace Jackson Davis. I don't mind that one. It's to me the judgment era with Kerr right now is too much Pods, not enough Kuminga. Draymond can and has and does run the point for the Warriors. You don't need pods out there all the time. Like, you can get by with a podsless offense, right? Have Draymond out there. Kuminga, Looney, by the way, played fantastic tonight. He should have got more minutes as well. It does seem like he gets stuck with these philosophies, and if you don't run my offense the way I ran, you're not going to play, as opposed to, you're one of the best players on this team, Kuminga. I'm going to figure out how to make it work so we can have one of the best, most athletic players on this team on the court.
Agree. Dave Sims, Patriot Builders of Montana, says, my dudes, I'm driving and needed something, and boom, the best in the game coming to my rescue. I'm going to get a second Jeep for my off-road videos on my page. Please stream them for 3 hours if you would. Go check out Dave Sims, Patriot Builders of Montana. Juan Carlos Montano says, Jimmy is the reason we lose this series. 9 field goals in 30 minutes is ridiculous. Team does better with Jimmy on the bench and still puts him in. All right, so we're new to the Jimmy Butler experience. He's been playing for a bunch of teams. For whatever reason, it always goes wrong and he has to leave. But he comes to the Warriors. He's happy. They win. It all works. Now we're expecting playoff Jimmy. We've heard about playoff Jimmy. We've heard, he's taken teams to the finals. Steph goes down, perfect time to see playoff Jimmy. And he really showed up in game 3. Maybe at his age, he can't do it 2 games in a row, but here's his stat line tonight. 34 minutes, 5 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, minus 30. Minus 30? How? What was that?
We got a bunch of role players on this team. Even Jimmy Butler, they call him playoff Jimmy. He looks like a role player with Steph Curry. It's the Steph Curry effect, man. They all fall in line, and the Warriors have failed to put a real scoring threat next to Steph Curry. So it's the Steph Curry show, and we got a bunch of guys that are going to rebound and play defense, but they're not going to be able to put up points for you, as we see. That's the biggest struggle right now with the Warriors, and that's why having Kuminga is so important, especially in transition. In transition, there's really nobody better on this team than Jonathan Kuminga. He needs to be playing. He needed to be playing a long time ago. And when they played him in Houston, he was so cold from coming off the bench, and his confidence was so shook from being benched for so long that now we're just kind of seeing Kuminga and what he's capable of doing, as we've seen in the past. And that's the frustrating part for me.
Well, before we get to Kuminga, let's not let Jimmy Butler off the hook. I mean, I understand he's older and he's a role player now and blah, 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 but it's like they gave him an extension. He's getting $60 million each of the next 2 years. And I think the Warriors were hoping that there would be another gear with him, that he would have the ability to take over and score a lot, be a volume scorer. And he's made it very clear he's not that player. He's not going to force the issue. He gets into the paint at will and passes out. It's the most frustrating thing. Nine field. I just don't understand how you can do that. I'm new to Jimmy Butler. It's just, what are you doing, dude? This is as close to a must-win game as you can get without it being a must-win game. And you had fewer field goal attempts than Draymond and Buddy Hield and Brandon Podjemski and Kuminga. You're the guy. You're the guy. Are you not? You're getting paid to be the guy. You signed the contract to be the guy. You gotta be more aggressive than that. You can't say I'm playing the game the right way. No, it's game 4. Now you're down 3-1. You took 9 shots.
Yeah, it's really inexcusable. I mean, you're dead on. You're right.
Steph wouldn't do that.
You were brought here to be the second dude on this team, and you're not playing like it. And the whole passing out of a layup thing is super frustrated. Pods has started doing that too. I don't know if that's the Jimmy effect or what it is, but they got to get the mentality like Kuminga, where you just go to the rack and attack. And Butler's been good at that, and that's why it's mind-blowing why he's so absent right now. Dude, your team needs you. Steph Curry's out. This is what they brought you for. Go score, go win the game, and he just hasn't shown that he has it in him without Steph there.
808 Niners is different day, same story. Nobody can beat anybody off the dribble. It's time to blow this team up. High energy IQ players win in high school, not the NBA. JK is okay, but he's a role player at best. All right, what are you seeing from Jonathan Kuminga? Kerr won't start him, but he's playing about 30 minutes a night, and he's scoring. He's creating his own shot. He's turning the ball over a little bit. I mean, he's not great, but this guy was getting like DNPs consistently for like a month or two, and now he's their number one scorer. I mean, what do you think of the Jonathan Kuminga career arc? What's going on here?
It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a system thing. You're not doing things offensively the way I want you to do them, so you're not going to play. And to some degree, I get it. If it was like he was doing it selfishly, then yeah, okay, I understand. But this dude is so talented, especially in transition. He's the best player on this team, especially when he's coming downhill. Nobody can stop him. I feel like it's the coach's job to make that work. Make the 5 best players on your team. You need to be able to make it work. That's your entire job. So any shortcomings I see from Jonathan Kuminga, I put on the shoulders of Steve Kerr.
Yeah. It seems I understand why Steve Kerr doesn't like him. Because to me, Kuminga, and I wonder if Curry likes him. I could see that Curry's the one that doesn't want to play with him. Because Kuminga's an isolation player. He gets the ball and he wants to slow things down and face up on his defender and dribble and go one-on-one. He's a one-on-one player, and he's not a particularly great one. But they freaking need him to do that now. And I think it's so funny. Like for years, Kerr's been poo-pooing him and trying to make him into someone he's not and trying to make him into a role player. And now it's like, hey, man, can you go be an isolation volume scorer for us? We need you. Our season depends on it. It's like, well, maybe you should have cultivated this in some way leading up to now, because it's a little late.
Well, what's crazy is I've been really watching this offense in this series without Steph Curry, and that's all they're doing. They're doing isolation. They'll create a mismatch by on-ball screen or off-ball screen. They'll find their mismatch, and then it's ISO. And then they kick out, they drive. If the help comes in, they kick out to whoever's open. They find a passing window. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing in this offense without Steph Curry. This offense looks dynamic with Steph Curry off the ball, running around the court, going crazy, getting himself open. But when you remove him from it, it's straight ISO ball. That's all we're seeing right now. There's no creativity coming from Steve Kerr and this Warriors coaching staff to get guys open.
Again, Steve Kerr, great coach, champion, but a bit of a Steph Curry merchant. I feel like as a lot of people in the world are. And it's interesting. Like when Steph Curry's out there, it seems like Kerr's always got the right answer. It's like, oh, he's got the right adjustment. Yeah, the adjustment is have Steph and Curry and just tinker with things around the edges. When Curry's not there and he has to like confront the same issues that every other coach in the world has to confront, man, his warts really show. You can really see him. And this whole Jonathan Kuminga thing is like, it's so Kyle Shanahan-esque. It's like, oh, hold on. Explain to me why he's in the doghouse, because I don't get it. And now he's producing, and you were playing freaking Mohamed Sanu. No, I don't get that. You were playing Santos? Nope. You were playing Pat Spencer.
Man. Basketball's a 5-on-5 game, right? It's the more than anything, more than football, it's the Jims and Joes, not the X's and O's. And I think a lot of legendary coaches, as good as they are, like I'm not saying Steve Kerr is not a good coach or Phil Jackson, but those guys really benefited from the players on their team. I mean, it's not many coaches that would look bad with Steph Curry, hitting 10 threes from 5 feet behind the arc for you. It's the Steph Curry is the Warriors. I think and Draymond, I don't know if we're going to talk about him, but.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Draymond. I wanted to talk about someone before Draymond, though. And 6 Minute Abs knows what I'm talking about. He says pods, ... Why? Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, question mark. Let's go right there.
Name a player with a longer leash than Brad and Podzimski on the Warriors.
I love how you didn't even get his name even remotely correct, but that's okay because he kind of deserves it.
Dude, he's been awful. I mean, I know he rebounds well for a guard. Great. I know he plays good defense for a small guard. Fantastic. I know he's good at taking charges. I love all of that. But you have to be able to score the basket. He's been absolutely awful in these last 2 games. I mean, what's that kid, Spencer? Pat Spencer? I'd rather see Pat Spencer out there at this point. No, but seriously, like Kuminga should be taking Pod's minutes. You run the point with Draymond and have Kuminga out there. At least you got athleticism and somebody that can score, get to the free throw line. I don't
I
understand
agree.
I've said for a long time, Braden Podziemski is a backup. He's not a starter.
So here's the numbers. Josh Dubow, AP, says that Podziemski's 23.1 shooting percentage this series would be worst for any player in a playoff series who's taken 35 or more shots since Piro Antic shot 16.7% for the Hawks versus Pacers in 2014. I don't know who that is. Don't remember that. But every time he shoots the ball, I'm like, no, don't. So he's really out there to just dribble around and pass. And you know what he does a lot? He has no confidence at this point. He'll get the ball wide open at the 3-point line, 7 seconds left on the clock, pump fake, and not take the shot. And then pass to someone who's like, thanks, with 2 seconds left on the shot. That's the Pod special. And then he sucks on defense. So there's that too.
And when he misses, he misses. Like, yeah. He bank it off the backboard, not touch the rim. Like he's I don't know what he's doing out there right now. To me, I've been saying this guy's a backup. I think they just love that he runs his stuff. I think this is a weakness of Kerr's. It's kind of like Kyle, right? Like he didn't play Jordan Mason because Jordan Mason didn't run the offense correctly or didn't do it the way Kyle wanted him to do it. This is what's going on to me.
Well, you got to remember like the Brandon Podziemski backstory. It's like it feels like a long time ago, but how did Brandon end up on this team? Well, we'll talk about this guy in a minute, but Draymond punched Jordan Poole in the face. In the face. It was crazy. And so they sided with Draymond, kind of like how the Niners sided with Debo. And so they got rid of Jordan Poole. And they traded him for Chris Paul and a pick, which they used on Brandon Podziemski. And then Chris Paul bounced because he's 70. So in order to sort of justify that trade, I mean, Jordan Poole is averaging 20 points a game for whatever team he's on, Washington or whatever, while Brandon Podziemski's shooting 23% in the playoffs. So it kind of feels like they're trying to justify a really bad trade. And we've seen the Niners do stuff like that.
Well, here's where half the people watching this show are going to really not like me now. I've been open to moving on from Draymond for a long time, and I think he is completely overrated. I think obviously he's a good defender.
I'm getting there.
I've been saying that for a long time. Like that type of shit is not tolerated to me. Getting flagrant fouls in crucial times and getting suspended like he did, and I forget what year that was, and missing games.
He sucked tonight.
He sucked yesterday.
Yeah, he sucked the game before that.
Guess why? Because Steph's not there. That's his crutch. Draymond is completely overrated, and it's not only that you're overrated. You hurt the team often, and I was okay for moving on from Draymond a long time ago. Not that Jordan Poole was the answer or the reason. I'm just like, let's trade this dude. I just think it's
like Steph's out now, and you're looking at like, who do you need more? Draymond and his defense and his like playmaking, or a guy who can actually score, because they can't score. And funny with Draymond, it seemed like he was trying to play defense. They called a bunch of fouls on him. He flipped out. And today played no defense, got absolutely freaking worked by Julius Randle from first quarter to the fourth quarter, and tried to offset it by taking a bunch of shots. Like, no, sit down, dude.
Defense is entirely effort and attitude, and he's good at it, right? He gives it effort. He focuses on it, but he's not a highly talented player because of that. He just tries. He plays that role. He's a role player. And Draymond, I just never – I kind of lost my way with Draymond a while ago. To me, like I coached basketball for 10 years, not in the NBA, but in high school, right? And the type of antics I see Draymond putting on the court out there for me are completely unacceptable. Now, I know this is a grown-ass man, but that's toxic to me. And that can hurt the team as much as help sometimes. And I'm just not a big Draymond guy. I'll be real.
I mean, and going back to Kerr, like, you took such a hard line with Jonathan Kuminga this year and never really explained it. And he's making you look bad right now. And yet you've never, ever taken a hard line with Draymond Green, who needed it, deserved, maybe would have been better for it. And you've given the longest leash in the world to Brandon Podjemski, a guy who we shouldn't even know how to spell his name or pronounce it. He's not good enough.
Yeah.
And again, Draymond, the whole reason that Brandon Podjemski is on the team is because you socked Jordan Poole in the face, man. It's your fault. Every time Brandon Podjemski misses a shot, it's your fault. You're the reason that he's on the freaking team.
Yeah.
Because you socked that dude. Because you said you're not that good without Steph. Because you're not.
It really.
We say you're Steph's backpack. You are.
Draymond is the culture creator on this team, and at times
he's the alpha.
At times it's beneficial. They need that tough guy, but at times it really hurts. And I think at times it impedes the development of some of these young players because they're freaking like under the watch of Draymond. Like Draymond, I don't know if you guys know, it's like Draymond coaches. He's just as much of a coach on this team as Steve Kerr is. And Steve Kerr gives him that reign. And you need player coaches on the court. It's not a bad thing, but I feel like sometimes you got to build up the confidence of these young dudes instead of just cracking the hammer, which is what Draymond seems to do.
I love that Draymond plays with an edge and that he's physical and all that, but like I don't understand how he gets into it with the refs. Like, you're 35 years old, man. What are you doing, dude? How can you not control your emotions at all? Like, we cover football. We cover players who are a lot tougher than Draymond Green, who are a lot more physical than Draymond Green, who can actually control their emotions when they're called for a personal foul, an unnecessary roughness, whatever it is. It's like, okay, that's a sport. I'll get him next time. Like Draymond can't do that. He either is like over the edge or disengaged like tonight, and he's just getting worked.
Yeah, it's shocking to me how absent Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green were in this game. And Draymond put up, 14 points, more than he usually does. But it just felt like he was just not being a leader out there. He didn't feel like he had Steph to be the Batman to his Robin. And so without him, he kind of shrinks in the moment. And same with Jimmy Butler, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, he didn't play. I mean, Randall cooked him. But to me, Draymond's like value on offense isn't taking 6 threes like he did tonight. It's like passing to Steph. And he can't do that anymore. So he had 2 assists and 2 turnovers tonight.
2 assists. You get a lot of assists when Steph Curry's on your team. I mean, so like a lot of that playmaking stuff is because he's the guy with the ball in his hands when they're running these off the ball screens for Steph, who pops open and Draymond just hits him. And then Steph Curry draining the 3. That's not that challenging, really. A lot of guys could do that.
Yeah. Joshua Wyatt says Jimmy Butler minus 30 in 34 minutes. Just how? Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest stat of all time, but like no one else in the team was worse than minus 18, and he was somehow minus 30. And honestly, when he was out there, I was like, is he on the court? I don't notice him. He was invisible.
A lot of these guys are very good complementary players with Steph.
Yeah.
On their own, individually, they're just not that guy, unfortunately.
It's too bad. Justice League says Pods is a glorified Jake Moody. What does that make Moses Moody? 6 Minute App says, please read Pod's stats this series. Barf. Moody might be worse. What the F? Jimmy 9 shots unacceptable. All right. Well, look, that's enough venting. It's over. Let's look forward to game 5. This is what you call a must-win game. They're down 3-1. Do you think Stephen Curry will play at all in game 5? I don't know why I asked that question so slowly. It doesn't change what I asked, but I just felt like talking slowly. I don't know.
It made it more dramatic.
But you knew what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I knew. Part of me feels like, no, it's not worth it. Part of me feels like it's not worth it. You're down 3-1. If you're feeling anything in that hamstring, call it a season, brother. Like unless you don't feel nothing, like you feel 100% ready to go. I just don't. I feel like season's over, man. That's how I feel, unfortunately.
I think he's going to play.
You probably will.
That's what I'm saying, man. Is it the right call? I don't know. Maybe not. But to me, this is Stephen Curry. He's one of the greatest players of all time, and he's 37. And if he says, guys, I'm suiting up for this game, no one's going to stop him. Now, I don't know if he'll do that, but I just can't imagine him being like, all right, well, this team clearly can't win without me. But I still feel a little something, man. I'm like 87%. So sorry. We'll get him next year, guys. It's not the stuff I know. Maybe it's worse than I realize. But dude, this guy has $1 billion. This team is worth like $10 billion. I think they have some technology. I think he's coming off the bench, man. I think he's coming off the bench.
I think he plays. I do think he plays. I'm not
saying he'll play 30 minutes.
I just don't know whether he should or not, but I do think he does play in this situation now. To my understanding, my son's a high jumper. He's torn his hamstring twice. Ooh. And to my understanding, the recovery on it it's not that, like, if he blows his hamstring, if he tears it more, he'll be fine by next season. So maybe it's not the end of the world if he pushes a little bit and comes back a little early. I mean, this is a must-win game. It's said a lot, but this is actually, when you're down 3-1, it's a must-win game. So I do actually expect Steph Curry, if he's 70%, he'll get out there and shoot some threes, if nothing else, to draw players his way and open up his teammates, and that's when they actually do well.
So Dr. Nirav Pandya, friend of both of our channels, just tweeted, rushing Curry back for game 5 if he's not fully ready. In our study below of hamstring injuries in NBA players over 5 years, nearly 81% of players suffered a subsequent injury in some part of their body, with 37% suffering another hamstring injury.
That's dangerous. Yeah, another part of the body. That's the thing that scares me. If it's just like, it hurts his hamstring again, that's one thing. But if he's like hurts another part of his body because he's trying to compensate, that's the scary thing, which makes me wonder.
But couldn't you do something like super sneaky and be like, just suit up? You know what I mean? Just get in their head. Mind games. Coming off the bench. You don't know when he's coming in the game. You're thinking about it. It's like Ricky Henderson on first base. Is he going to steal? I don't know. There he is. He gets up. He goes to the scores table. Oh, shit. Stephen Curry. Is he going to? And then you got to think about how are you going to defend him? And he gets in there and he's not moving that much. And he's just a freaking decoy. Could you? I mean, like, he could play 3 minutes, but I feel like he could hit one shot. He could tilt the defense. Why would you not even try it? Like, there's got to be a safe way to do something, even if he plays 2 seconds. I would rather him play 2 seconds than not play at all.
Put him in the corner.
Hell yeah.
Play zone defense when he's in.
Dude, 5 seconds left on the game and you have the ball. He needs to be in the freaking game.
Yeah.
I bet he plays, man. I bet he plays.
He probably will. It does worry me, but I mean, it's a long off season, so I'm assuming he'll recover.
Yeah, dude, he's worth hell of money, man. His wife makes cookbooks. They'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. This team, gosh, man, they're talking about getting Giannis. That's what they need, a Giannis. They need a second star on this team with Steph. Draymond's not a star. I'm sorry. I know he's going to the Hall of Fame, but Steph put him there. Even Clay, man. I'm sorry.
Even Kerr, man.
Even Kerr, brother. Like, that's
how do they get Giannis? They sign and trade Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, Pods, because he's killing it, man.
Bunch of draft picks too.
Kuminga, he's all of a sudden Kuminga.
Yes, thanks, Kuminga. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, because I still wonder, even as great as Kuminga's doing, if they will even pay him. I don't think they will, based on these last 2 games. I doubt the Warriors want to pay Kuminga, so I think he's probably gone. So if they can get that, if they trade Kuminga, and please trade Pods, and you can get Giannis, but it's going to require a lot of draft picks too. I mean, 2 or 3.
Take them.
Yeah,
they can have Moses Moody too. We'll throw in Moses Moody.
Yeah.
You know what they can't have though? Who I think should be a Warrior for life, and I don't understand why he doesn't start. Kevon Looney, dude, ultimate baller. I don't care. UCLA Bruin always he's always doing the right thing, getting offensive rebounds. I think he's a better player than Trace Jackson Davis. Kevon Looney, no respect.
Kevon Looney should be a backup center in the NBA, but on the Warriors, he should be your starting center.
I agree. I agree.
That's how I see Looney, but he is very solid fundamentally. Great footwork, as slow as his feet are. Very fundamental footwork. Always rebounding, doing the right thing, being very high IQ player. I like him. He should be a backup though.
It would be cool to watch Giannis on the same team as Steph. I feel like that'd be a good pair. They'd complement each other. And I feel like Giannis has been one of the more, like, maybe the most underrated player in the NBA the last 5-6 years. I mean, to me, man, I mean, he's
and
like,
I can't call it Giannis. I don't know why. Ashley's laughing at me in the chat. I pronounce everyone's names wrong. I love that.
How do you say it?
I said Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis? Not even close.
I know, but it's spelled like that. I'm pronouncing it how it's spelled.
It's phonetic, yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, Giannis.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit up some prize picks, and then we'll get to some Niners topics. Thanks everyone for watching. We got 1,200 people up in here. Nikola Jokic, I don't know, 50.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, more or less.
Dude, I've won 3 times in a row, man. I almost won 1,900 tonight. Freaking Draymond can get 2 more rebounds. I'm cooking right now.
All right, so you show us the way then on this one. Like, what do you like?
But I've been betting on Warriors, so I'm probably not as good at this. Nikola, what is it? 50 what total everything?
Jokic, more or less. But hold on, let's find all of his plays. So here we go. 27.5 points. He hasn't been hitting it. We could go less.
I like the 50.
The 50?
Yeah. It's everything, right? 50, the first option that we had.
Points, rebounds, and assists?
Yeah.
Less or more?
More.
All right.
By the way, I'm loving the Knicks.
Doing well. The Knicks?
Yeah, Knicks are fun, man.
Yeah, they are fun. Brunson?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Brunson. I'm what's the devil pick right there? The 5.5.
You like the devil? 5.5 assists.
Is that what that is?
Green Devil?
Oh, yeah, we're going with that.
We're going with that. Smart one. Who else we got in the front page? Aaron Gordon. Green Devil. A lot of Aaron Gordon. Too much Aaron Gordon, you ask me. What's going on here? Oh, this Aaron Gordon. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hartenstein or Hartenstein, Shai Gilgeous, 31.5 points.
Go. I don't know. Did they figure him out? Or is he?
Yeah, don't foul him.
Yeah, maybe they're figuring him out. I would say less than for him.
Less. All right, Donovan Mitchell, Obi Toppin, Russell Westbrook, 10.5 points for Russell.
Yeah, man, give it to Russ. I love Russ right now. I like the intentional technical foul.
I missed that. What'd he do?
The game was like over, and he went and dunked the hell out of it, hung on the rim on purpose to get a technical foul and yelled to the camera. It was great.
All right, last one. Donovan Mitchell, 27.5 points. Man, he got smacked yesterday.
Didn't he get injured?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would say.
All right. In that case, we'll definitely do less than.
Yeah.
All right. Let's lock it in, flex the play, submit the lineup. You guys should download the app, use promo code Cohn, play 5, get 50 instantly. It's just like that. All right. Is it Warrior? Is it Niner time? I think it's Niner time. Okay. So we have a new segment in the Best 49ers show. I haven't run this by you. I thought of it my own. I think it's going to be a good segment. It's called Is Grant on Crack? So I will throw something out at you, and you just tell me if you think I'm on crack. Okay.
All right.
I think let me try again. We're talking about the 49ers now. I think the 49ers should trade Trent Williams after June 1st. I understand that he's an all-time great left tackle. I feel like at this stage of his career, it's a waste of his time to be on this team, considering they're not in a Super Bowl window. And I think for what the Niners are trying to do, reset with a new culture and young players who like practicing, maybe it's not so great when the best player on the team doesn't practice and has a whole different set of rules. I mean, all you're showing him is that there's a double standard. Maybe it's time to get rid of the double standard and let him go play for a team that's really a Super Bowl contender. Trade him after June 1. Am I on crack?
I don't think you're on crack, man. I'll tell you why. I don't think a lot of people think the 49ers have a chance of winning the Super Bowl this year. I think that's very rare amount of people that think that is possible. And since it's not really possible, I mean, anything's possible. It's not likely. And because it's not likely, and he is his age and the amount of money they're paying him, I'm open to trading him as well.
Like, what if you could trade him to Houston? He lives out in Texas. He knows D'Amico. They're a Super Bowl contender, especially with him. Trade him to Houston for a second-round pick next year. I think you traded a third-round pick to get him. You just signed 2 left tackles conveniently. It's nice.
What bothers me about it is, why didn't you trade him before the draft if you're going to do that and get some capital for like this year? You know, that's the thing that is annoying about it.
Well, because if you trade him before June 1, it kills your salary cap for this year. All of a sudden there's like, $50 million in dead cap and you lose $30 million in cap space. And maybe it complicates your ability to extend Brock. But if you trade him after June 1st, it becomes more economically feasible.
Economically feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm not against it. I'm open to trading anybody. And these honestly are the kind of players. This is the timing of when you want to trade a player. If you don't have realistic Super Bowl aspirations, and you have a player who's going to retire any year now, and you could still get something for him, that's when you trade him. It's sad. I like Trent Williams, and I know Niner fans will be sad about it. I just think the Niners need to really truly ask themselves, do some soul searching. Like, are we going to win a Super Bowl this year? Do we have a chance? And if that answer is no, like honestly, then yeah, you move on from them.
Let me ask you a question, completely unrelated. Quiz. Who do you think is the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history?
I know the answer because I follow you on Twitter, and it's Trent Williams.
It is. This guy's made $200 million almost.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point in his career, like, he's going to play for one reason and one reason only, to win a Super Bowl. And he can't do that here. And I think the only team that would want a 37-year-old player who doesn't practice is a team that's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're one player away from winning a Super Bowl. We can handle Trent Williams. He can handle himself. We don't need him to be a captain or an example to the. Forget that. Just be great at your one freaking job. That's not what the Niners need this year. They need examples. They need leaders and captains, and that's just not what he is. So I'd trade him.
Yeah, and you think Houston, right? He lives down there. He's from Texas. So that does make sense.
But yeah, I mean, think they would have been more aggressive to get an offensive tackle in the draft. But maybe when they missed on when Kelvin Banks went, they're like, you know what? We like DJ Humphrey. Like, we can go get DJ Humphreys and Andre Dillard, 2 former first-round picks, and they'll be better than whatever guy we're going to get in round 3. Maybe that's wrong, but maybe that's how they feel.
Here's the question, though. Like, do you think the Niners think they can win a Super Bowl? Do you think the Niners really think they can win a Super Bowl this year? And if the answer is yes, they think that, then yeah, you don't want to trade them because it's going to be crucial to the chances of that happening.
I mean, does a team that's starting 5 rookies on defense really think they're going to win a Super Bowl this year? Or is that a team that's like, you know what? If we play our cards right and expedite this process, 2026 just might be our year.
I mean, I'm hopeful, but I don't feel like they have a great chance. So maybe the Niners feel the same way. Maybe they do.
Their attitude seems to be like, look, we got an easy schedule. Funny things happen. It's why you play the game. Football is an oblong object and it takes funny bounces. But it's like they don't really. If they win 11 games and make the playoffs and get bounced in the first rounds, I think they'll be like, you know what? Good year.
Man, it really is as crazy as it sounds. It's about who's healthy and playing good when the playoffs come. And that could be the Niners for all we know. I mean, and how great would it be if a year like right now where it doesn't feel like they have a chance, that's when they actually pull it off. So I don't know.
Luis Blanco, probably related to Benny Blanco, says
Benny
the
Blanco.
Warriors are better off not even getting on the plane to Minnesota if they're going to lose again. Grant, if the Warriors lose, will you do a call-in? Sure. If you guys are interested in the Warriors, so am I. Harry Matthews says, got to get more Georgia players. Yeah, they really seem to set a culture. I kind of understand what the Eagles are doing over there. Unrelated to Georgia players, Gabe Davis, free agent wide receiver, huge bust for the Jaguars, but pretty good for the Bills. Visited the Niners today. Do you think they should sign him?
I think they need as much help as they can get at the wide receiver position right now with Robinson missing 3 games, Brandon Ayuk missing, who knows, might come back like late October, early November, probably at the earliest.
Yeah, but did you hear that Isaiah Nayor caught 1 pass in 7-on-7s at rookie
I
minicamp?
did hear that.
About
I
that?
did hear
about
that.
that?
Hey, man, I would love for one of these young dudes to step up. I also heard like immediately after the season that Terrell Owens was the guy, according to David Lombardi. That is supposed to happen too. So you never know, man. But no, seriously though, I think bring as much talent as you can at the wide receiver position, and maybe Gabe Davis can live up to his draft status and be better than he was for the Jaguars over here. I mean, what's the harm? They're really not signing a ton of free agents anyways.
That's a good point.
Wide receivers,
What's the
one of
harm?
them.
I mean, they've been spending so much money. It's like dial it back.
Right. Like, am I supposed to say no? We have Trent Taylor. No. Like, bring Gabe Davis in. You know.
Fair enough. When you put it that way, I just don't think he's a great fit with Brock. Like, he's a one-trick pony. He's a deep threat who can block. Does he run a route tree? No. But he can run, deep and make a contested catch. I think it's a great guy to have on a team with Josh Allen or Justin Herbert. But with Brock, I mean, Brock's not a dink and dunk quarterback. He can push it to the intermediate level, 10 to 20 yards down the field, but that's not where Gabe Davis is going to win. He's going to win 40 yards down the field, if anywhere. So you could sign him. I mean, if he's got no options, bring him to camp, let him battle it out, and maybe he makes the team. But I'm interested in Jordan Watkins. In Jordan Watkins.
Why are you interested in Jordan Watkins?
Okay. He's not small. Like Jacob Cowing is small. Ricky Pearsall is thin. Dante Pettis was thin. This guy's thick like Ayuk. He's 5'11", 195, 200. He doesn't have Ayuk's long arms, but Ayuk doesn't even really use his length. He doesn't make contested catches. Ayuk's explosive, but he's not jumping all over the field. Like he's a precision route runner with 4.5 speed. This guy's like a precision route runner with 4.37 speed, and he has short arms, but he makes the catch. I think he's a legit X receiver. I think he's got legit juice. I don't know it takes a while to learn the offense and but I think he's going to be interesting. I like him.
I think what Brock needs is Juwan Jennings with speed. And if you're saying that this guy can do that, that would be great.
Because Juwan is like 6'3" with long arms and contested catch all day. Like that's not this guy. But if you're looking for a replacement for Brandon Ayuk, he's interesting because he's way cheaper. He's actually faster, around the same size, doesn't have Brandon Ayuk's length, but Ayuk's $30 million a year and his knee is reconstructed. This guy's cheap and he's really fast and his knees are fine. And I don't know if Ayuk's going to be on this team next year.
I was just going to say that I fully expect him to be traded. They've been trying to trade him for 2 seasons. It's weird that they even signed him as much as they also wanted to trade him at the same time. So I expect Brandon Ayuk to be gone after he can show the NFL that he's healthy. So they need to start planning for that either way. So it'd be interesting if Jordan Watkins is he's the one player that when they drafted him, like, who is this guy? And I watched some film on him. He just looks okay, but like nothing really flashed for me. I haven't seen him in person yet. So that'll be interesting for me.
I think he's going to be like Pearsall in the sense it's like, well, you're not dominant. You're not a number 1 receiver, but you're an explosive number 2. Like you're actually fast and you're quick and you're like very well rounded. You're not going to take over a game, but like everyone's worried about McCaffrey and Kittle anyway. To have these guys on the outside who can play outside, can play in the slot, can beat you deep, can run a quick little whip route, option route on third down. I see Kyle's vision. I think he's actually pretty freaking good at drafting wide receivers at this point. I kind of like, I give Saleh the benefit of the doubt when it comes to drafting a lot of defensive players. When they drafted Jordan Watkins, I'm like, this is my least favorite pick. And then I see him in person, I'm like, all right, I see what Kyle was looking for. I get it. Now I haven't seen him actually run a route yet against anyone. He looks like an NFL wide receiver, and his resume isn't that bad. I mean, he did produce in college.
Did you interview him yet? Because he seems like a personality, man.
He's smart. He seems very confident and smart.
He seems smart, but also like he would be barefoot often.
I haven't gotten to know him that well yet.
I watched some interviews with him, and he seems like that kind of guy. But I mean, I would be down. I love it. I mean, we found Juwan Jennings, what, 7th round? Juwan Jennings, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know, man.
I feel bad for Jacob Cowing. I just don't feel like they ever really wanted him that much, and I feel like this guy's going to take his spot real quick. I think Jacob Cowing has a future, but probably not here.
And I really feel like the 7th rounder that they got from Montana is going to be the kick return, punt return. So he's probably going to take Jacob Cowing's spot. So the special teams coach, the new special teams coach's son, played with that kid at Montana, and he's the one.
We'll see about that. I feel like he's got, like, his kid gave him a tip and he's like, sure, I love you, buddy. But we'll have to see. I mean, Junior Bergen runs like a 4.57. Jordan Watkins runs a 4.37, and he returns punts too. I want to see what Jordan Watkins looks like returning punts. I will see Junior Bergen as well. But like, he was the last pick. He was basically a UDFA. He's got to beat out Isaiah Nayor too. That guy's 6'4", 220 running a 4.4, and he's not a returner, but he's got a lot more potential as a receiver than freaking Junior Bergen. So Junior has to show that he's legit a weapon as a receiver, as a returner.
Look, like, in all seriousness, this Nayor guy, 6'4", and what'd you say he runs?
4.4 flat.
So I mean, those are just measurables, but that's what I think Brock needs. Like, he needs these tall, long dudes that can, but with speed, like, because Juwan's great. If Juwan could run a 4.4 40, he would be one of the best receivers in the NFL, right?
He really would. He'd be top 5.
Yeah, and so I think they need to find that guy, because I don't think Brandon Ayuk's going to be here next year, and I don't think Ricky Pearsall is enough.
All right, let's move on. We haven't talked about Brock yet. We need to talk about Brock. Before we get into like business, let's talk about skill set. So, not to rehash stuff we've already talked about, but if I were to ask you, what is Brock Purdy's superpower? What is his best trait? What makes him him? What would you say?
Character, leadership. Like, you talking
about
answer. Really, that's what
most people say. It's his processing. I wonder about that. Not to dump on him, because I'm with you. I think it is his character and his leadership. People say, I've heard Steve Young say this, that Brock's superpower is his processing. I don't know about that. I mean, he was really good at processing in 2022 and 2023. But when someone, at least one person, is open on every play, sometimes 2 or 3, because everyone is good and the play caller is good too, are you processing? Or are you just finding the open man when there's 2 of them or 3? It seemed like this last year, the processing wasn't necessarily a strength.
Well, let's ask you this. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo was a good processor?
No, no, I don't.
Right? So what those guys have in common is they run Kyle's offense, and Kyle tells them who's going to be open when. Right. And Brock is really good at understanding Kyle's offense. He's the Podzinski of that's probably too low for Brock, but that's what he knows, right? He knows how to read a defense.
You called him Brock Podziemski. That's messed up, dude.
He knows how to read a defense pre-snap and determine who's going to be open and when. And when he's right, he's right. But often what we're seeing now is defenses are messing with that. Right? They're going into the zones where he's comfortable throwing, and that's when he struggles. And then when he gets in trouble late in the game, he tries to force things. That's not good processing. I think Brock's strength is his character and his leadership over everything else.
I also feel like Brock kind of lost the script a little bit during this last season. I think he was a little too focused on you, Ryan, because you started calling him this and that. He's a dink and dunk quarterback, and I think Brock realized that he was on the cusp of making a lot of money, but there's some narratives about him, that he just dinks and dunks, and I think he kind of came out last year trying to prove people wrong. Like he's not a system quarterback. He doesn't just distribute the ball like a point guard. Like he can be a playmaker, and I feel like he played hero ball in the second half of close games consistently and lost that way. Like that's losing football for him. So decision making, processing, I don't know. He does some things really well, but like he also was in an all-time great situation. And once you took him out of that situation, I mean, I don't know, 6-9. Like Jimmy never did that. Terrible.
Yeah, Brock.
I know you don't judge a quarterback on his win-loss record, but like it's not like he was playing for the Jaguars last year. You had a Hall of Fame tight end on your team. You had a Hall of Fame middle linebacker. 6-9, and you missed games. I don't know.
CMC is to Brock Purdy what Steph Curry is to Draymond.
Yeah.
Yep. You take him out of it, and he's not that same guy. I think Brock is a good quarterback, middle of the pack, top 12, top 15, in that range. He's good at a lot of things. I love his leadership, love his character. You can't ask for more in that regard. He knows how to run this offense when things are going according to plan. He's not going to win the game for you when it's all on the line. He just hasn't. He just hasn't yet. Maybe he does in the future.
And he's like you say, he's like top. He's not quite top 10, but he's sort of in that 12 to 15 range. But I think what's scary about him, you're going to pay him, and we're going to talk about that next. But is his best football ahead of him? Is he going to climb the rankings as time goes on? Or are J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix and Drake May and Cam Ward all eventually going to pass him just because they're more talented and all they need is time? Possible.
It is. It's completely possible. And I mean, they're going to have a hard time finding a better team than they had in 2023. They're going to have a hard time.
It'll be impossible when they're paying Brock.
Right. So, I mean, to me, that was the chance with this quarterback, and that's what it's going to require. I mean, same thing with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, but he's a dual threat, which is a little extra from what Brock has. But he's the kind of quarterback where you just need to have an elite roster around you. That's what Jalen Hurts is to me, and that's what Brock Purdy is. And I don't know when they're going to be able to get back to that level where they were in 2023. If this draft class hits and some of the sophomore players step up, maybe they can get back there. Maybe there's addition by subtraction, removing Deebo Samuel from the equation, and one of these other receivers can be more dynamic than Deebo was last year. So, again, like I don't want to say it's impossible, but as far as what his superpower is, I think it's his character and his leadership. I think that is by far his best trait. And then everything else is after that.
All right. Well, speaking of Brock Purdy's character and leadership, what a swell guy he is. What a selfless person he is. He hasn't signed his extension yet.
Mm-hmm.
OTA start 2 weeks from tomorrow, Tuesday, 27th. If he hasn't signed that extension by the 27th, do you think he will practice at OTAs? I'm not talking about whether he'll show up. Do you think he will get on the field and practice with his teammates?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think that's what we just talked about. All right. Like, I think we agree that his strength is leadership and character, right? If you remove that strength, his best strength, by him becoming Brandon Ayuk type of mentality, then I think he loses a lot of value. And I think Brock Purdy has to continue to be that I'm the leader of this team. I'm a great guy, say the right things, do the right things kind of guy. Once he strays from that, he's going to lose a lot of value, especially with Mac Jones right there behind him, trying to become a starter again in the league. So I think he absolutely plays. I do.
I don't think he will. I'm trying to find the quote. I can't find it right now, but at his final press conference of the season, after they lost and he was at his locker, He said something along the lines of, I really want to get this done. Remember, he said he wanted to get it done quickly, and it sounded like, oh man, it's such a breath of fresh air. But he said it like, I really want to get this done quickly so I can be there out there working with my teammates, which kind of implies that if it's not done, he's not going to be out there. And look, I wouldn't knock him if he didn't practice. I mean, like, if he gets hurt in practice, there's no extension. It's not like the Niners are like, oh, that sucks. Sorry, but we still love you. We'll still pay you $200 million. We'll still pay you 53. Like, no, it's over. It's a tragedy, man. We were gonna pay you, but now we're not. And people may not remember this because it was almost 10 years ago. But in 2016, this was training camp. Teddy Bridgewater dislocated his knee and tore his ACL in a non-contact drill in practice. Shit happens, man. Shit happens. If I were his agent, I'd be like, no fucking way, dude. Absolutely fucking not. Go, be a teammate, shake hands, smile, raise your hand in the meetings. Do not fucking go on the field because I'm getting 10% of this. And if you fuck this up for me, man, this is it.
Here's what I think really happens, because Brock does not want to be that guy. He's going to sign a contract before OTAs. Like, that's what I think actually happens. I think he puts pen to paper and they come to an agreement. He doesn't
completely agree.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be that guy. He'll agree. Nope. They're going to push him to the deadline, and then he'll sign that thing and he'll be out there.
May 27th. I completely agree. And I feel like it's what he wants. It's what the Niners want. They want first day of OTAs. We did it. We got it done. First thing this offseason. Didn't wait a long time. And everyone's going to praise him for being expeditious. But then you're going to be like, yeah, but you gave Brock Purdy $54 million a year. Like, what? But that's what my prediction. Like, they're going to want praise because they got it done quick. And then you're going to look back and be like, what did you do? What did you do? You can't get out of this for 3 years. Like, what? Okay.
Better or worse? Do you think Brock Purdy will be better this coming season, or worse, or the same? After getting paid 54. I think it's going to be 49 point something million.
Is he going to be better or worse after I trade Trent Williams?
Trent's still on the team. We'll say Trent's on the team. Is Brock Purdy going to have a
hey, Brock, good luck.
Is he going to be a better quarterback?
I don't think he'll be a better quarterback. His numbers might be better for whatever reason, but I don't think he will play the position at a higher level than he did last year. No.
Yeah, if CMC is there, his numbers will be better. I think the loss of Debo will actually improve his numbers also. So I do expect his numbers to be up. But, I don't – and there's some things he can still learn. He's still, 24, 25 years old. 25. So there could be some slight improvement there. But I think we have a good idea of who Brock is. He does have the hurdle of winning big games and crunch time situations to still get over. People refer to the Lions game, but that was very early on. In the last 5 minutes of games, he's really, really bad. I think it's 4 interceptions, 0 touchdowns, 5 fumbles lost in the last 5 minutes, losing. So Brock's got to be that guy to be the complete quarterback and to improve in my eyes. So I don't know. I think he'll be a little better numbers, but not like some phenomenal quarterback.
6 Minute Abs says, headed to Minnesota, hit up Manny's Steakhouse. Yeah, I was in Minneapolis in September, and I went to Manny's, but I also went to Murray's, and I got to say, I'm Team Murray's Steakhouse. Because, like, Manny's is one of these, like, upscale steakhouses that feels like it was renovated last week. And, like, the prices reflect that. It's like, oh, I'm paying for this piano on the front that you just put there. Murray's feels like it hasn't been renovated since 1954. And I feel like the prices reflect that. And I like a little kitschy, vibe when I'm in a place. I like a vibe.
Generally speaking, I've found outside of one place, Q1227 in Roseville, hell of expensive, amazing food. But outside of that place, seems like usually the expensive food is never really worth it, and you can find better food at these dives, these holes in the walls.
Yeah, like Manny's the kind of place where you look at everything's super expensive. You're like, all right, let me get the burger, and it's like $35. It's like,
It's hardly
What did
worth
you put on it? How could it possibly be that? What
it.
did you do?
It's hardly worth it. It's barely ever worth it. Like whenever we travel these expensive places. I stopped doing it. I just go to the trucks and the hole in the walls. They're better food and it's cheaper.
No, but I will say though, you gotta go to the Midwest because Midwest prices are a real thing. Like, first of all, steaks in the Midwest are just better. They're
I lived there. I
it
lived
was
in
I don't need to tell
Indiana
you.
and Ohio for like 2.5
You
years.
could get a phenomenal steak for like $60. Just freaking phenomenal. Like 14, 16 ounces. Love that. And then my brother was in Minneapolis last week for business and just happened. He was like, oh, the Warriors are playing a playoff. He was at game one. Got $250 tickets on the lower bowl. It's like, oh, thank you, Minneapolis, for being so accommodating.
Everything's cheaper there. I mean,
Yep.
some would say for a reason, but not always.
Because Minneapolis is completely inhospitable 8 months of the year. True, true, true. But those other 4 months, really nice.
Yeah. You catch it at the right season. You're good. Can I suggest that we do more is Grant on Cracks?
You like that, right?
Multiple like questions within that. Yeah.
Sure. But tonight, as of tonight, not on crack. Next week could be a different story.
Never know. Relapse.
Hey, do you think Dr. Dre's ever going to come out with Detox?
I hope not. I
remember in college, being in college, like we go out one night, like just be out like drinking with friends, be like, just wait till Detox comes out, man. It's gonna be crazy, man.
Dude, Ice Cube just came out with a album I haven't even heard it. And man, I love you.
X-Rated came out with a new song. X-Rated. People don't even know about him. Sacramento's finest.
I love E40. He just came out with a song, and I'm like, dude,
he will never ever retire.
It might be time at this point. And I love E40.
He hasn't made a good song in a minute and a half. Although he did a feature with Pookie F and Rude earlier this year, which I kind of liked. No, I'm never gonna quit Earl. I am Team Earl. And I met Earl at a Niner game. He was walking this way, and I was walking that way. And I was like, hey, Earl. And he was like, hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah, I remember. I was there on the field with you. Cowboys game.
Earl.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have called him E40, but not me. And if I ever see Too Short, what's up, Todd? Hey, Mr. Shaw.
So what are you saying, Todd?
What are you saying, Todd? Hey, man, it's 11. Ryan, thanks for staying up with me, man. This was a lot of fun.
It is bedtime. See you, sir.
Thanks for hanging with us and talking basketball and indulging us. It's an important time, as Nick Bosa would say. And we wanted to shout out Nick Bosa. Shout out Ryan Hensley. Shout out to everyone watching. And see you guys tomorrow.